Hello, my beautiful friends. It is Saturday, and I'm here with my son because I can't go anywhere because we have to stay home, take care of him. And I thought I would do a full moon, full reading for myself. It's interesting. The full moon can really be looked at two ways, right? And disclaimer, I am not an expert in astrology or astronomy, but the way I look at full moon is two ways. It's either the completion of the cycle, so each phase of the moon, and then it ends up in this beautiful, gorgeous full moon, or it's the beginning, and it's a full plate, and then, it's going to cycle around. And I think about it in the way that I think about when I was in Scotland. We had this great story. So, thank God we did not get arrested for breaking and entering. We didn't. But we had an Airbnb in Helensburgh, it's this little seaside, not a seaside town because it's not the sea, but it's on one of the locks, Firth of Forth. And great names. They have great names there. Anyway, so we get this Airbnb and it's apartment, and so we go to it, and it's on can't remember what floor it was on. Is it on the second floor or whatever? So we go up, and and there's a code box there. So it looks like, if you've stayed at Airbnbs, there's usually a code box. There's a code box there. And I'm typing in the code and it's not working. And I'm hearing a dog barking. And I knew that the cleaning person was going to be there. And we were kind of coming in a little early because our train came in early. But the proprietor had said we could put our luggage in there. If the cleaning person was still there, we could at least put our luggage in there, go eat lunch and come back. So I'm like, well, I guess maybe the cleaning person brought the dog, So, and we're trying to get in. And like we go for lunch, we come back, we can't get in. I text the proprietor, and he's like, you're on the wrong floor. And it reminded me, because my grandmother obviously knew this. In the UK, the first floor is the ground floor, and then the next floor is the first floor, where here in the States, the ground floor is the first floor, and we were on the wrong floor. So we tried to bust into somebody's house. Wouldn't that have been fun? Fortunately, we got into our Airbnb, and thank God everything worked out. But I feel like that way about the full moon. You could see it as the full cup, or you could see it as the starting cup. So the energy it's a great energy, and you put your crystals out. Susan sent me this lovely ritual that I'm going to do. I'm very excited to try it with basil leaves and a simmer pot. I love simmer pots. I learned about simmer pots through the Sister Collective, because I never really kind of knew what that was. So I'm excited about the energy, and so I'm going to look at the full moon as being a brand new beginning. It's definitely a new beginning for my son with his new back. I'm going to get to go back to work soon and do new projects, and so I'm looking at the energy of something new. So I want some guidance from Spirit. I'm going to do some things a little bit differently. I just got done hanging out with the Soul Sisters for Hesja's first live reading session. It was really incredible. She was hot, spot on with messages, and the message for me was doubting my gifts and doubting what I do. And that really comes from, being an academic in the academic community. I've talked about this a lot of times on the channel. I have a very visible job with people who have lots to say about what I do, and think they have lots to say about what I do. I work with technology, high-end technology like artificial intelligence. I am an English professor by trade, but then got into all kinds of other stuff because I use video games to teach English. So I went down some blue blazes, and I do programming, ethical hacking, things like that. So, in my very scientific side of my brain, I often doubt. I get so many signs. Last night, my friend Nav came over. I was so excited to see her. I haven't, sat down with her since, Christmas. And, we had so much to talk about. We got very little done. And we wanted to read cards. And, but it was just, we had to catch up all the stuff. And I'm so reminded of how blessed I am to have met Nav. I met Nav in a meetup group that I run for people over 40 who want to get back on the trail, who aren't, super fast hikers and don't want to be discouraged. Sometimes you go with a meetup group that is, with really strong hikers, and then you're a slow hiker and you feel bad. And I didn't want people to feel bad, so I started that group in New Jersey. And when I moved to Pennsylvania, I brought it with me. I started one here. got like 3,000 members or something. I have other hike leaders now that kind of help run it because I was out for a year with my foot, and now I'm out with my son. So it's good. Anyway, so that's how I met Nab. So, like I think the older you get, the harder it is to meet people because, like I'm not a bar person. And even if I was a bar person, like would I be hanging out with people I met at a bar? I mean, maybe, I guess. But, because I don't belong to a church and like I do volunteer work with the Red Cross and stuff like that, but we don't really get together and like hang out together. I don't hang out with people that I work with. It's, I have my two best friends that I've always had, and then I have my college roommate that I'm close to, but I don't really hang out with her too much. Like we go to events together, but I'm a little bit shy about bringing people into my house. Nev is one of the few people that gets to come in my house. This whole citrus could come in my house. I don't know. I think that's because we have a very lived-in house. It's not a horrible mess. I'm not a hoarder or anything like that. But I think people have an expectation of a person with my kind of job that I would have a certain kind of house. And I come from working class background. It's a working class house. My husband is a mechanic. I don't put out airs, so it doesn't matter to me. I could live in a tent and be equally as happy. And where I live is about me, not about what people think of it. I feel the same way about cars. People think I should have a brand new car. I would like a brand new Rubicon. I'm putting it out there in the universe, Hestia. I want a brand new Rubicon. I can't afford one, so some person watching this has to gift one to me. I'll pay the taxes on it. That's what I can afford. Anyway, so I don't have a brand new car because I refuse to pay a car payment. Paying a car payment would mean I couldn't help the poor. So I don't want a car payment. So my Jeeps are older. I'm fine with that. We have an older Lincoln. I'm fine with that. Because I own the pink slips on all of them. And I'm not paying out every month a huge car payment. And my mom used to say, and then I had a person that I worked for who was very into material things. Somebody in your position should really have a nicer car. And I always say, really? It says more about them than it does about me, because I just need to get from point A to point B. I'd like something I can put my kayaks on, but other than that, I don't care. I could ride a camel. It doesn't matter to me. It matters to you. Look at you. But because of that, I tend to be very shy, and that is really the card that Hester pulled, is like, don't be ashamed or embarrassed or hide your gifts because you think people are going to feel a certain way. And I feel like I'm getting better at that. I've been better about that these past 2 years. But I have more work to do, more shadow work to do. And I know that I'm growing because I would like a year ago, I would never have let Bella come to see me at the hospital. I would have made every excuse to Adam for her not to come. And I didn't do it. I'm like, Spirit is guiding this. Spirit, and like, I'm so thankful that I did not get in the way of Spirit. So, Hes just said, and it's interesting, she said, that surprises me that you're that way because you open your home. And it's the pouring out principle. Like, if I'm pouring out from my cup, I don't have to worry about what's being poured into mine because I'm pouring, right? And Spirit's like, you need to, like, light and love is circular. It has to go around. You have to fill up your cup so that you can fill up other cups. Let people be nice to you. So, that's the energy I'm going into the full moon with. I'm going to pick one of these cards. This is from the Celtic Magic book. And whatever card Spirit is going to pop out to me is going to be how I direct the rune. So this is a little bit different. If you watch the channel, you know I always pull the runes first. And then I pull the cards to clarify. But I'm going to do it a little different today because Hestia inspired me to do something different. So I'm going to pull a card and then see what the Rune Stone comes out with it. So we're just going to pick one card. First card that comes out. Asking Spirit to pick a card that I should focus on in this new moon period. In this cycle of the moon. What should I be working on? Maybe this will resonate with somebody out there. And we can do it together. I do not know these cards very well, so I do need to still use the book. Got these in Arizona at a used bookstore. First card that comes out, we're taking in 3 passes. Okay, we're taking 2 cards because it literally threw them across. And sometimes Spirit is like, we have 3 cards. Threes are magical in the Celtic world. So, what do we have? Ha! Ha! I can't make this stuff up. It's the Druid card. The second card is Gallowglass, which is... just reminds me of King Arthur's sword. And then hand fasting. So let's look and see what these cards mean. I think I know what hand fasting means, but don't worry, I will not bore you with reading to you. The drama and feeling. All right, with the Druid. Well, does it tell you what page it's on, or no? That isn't how it goes. Oh, here we go. All right, the Druid. Magic, empowerment, enchantment. The Druid priest was a master magician, casting spells and working rituals and divinations for the greater good of the clan. Skilled herbalist. I'm going to sneeze. And healer for his people. In addition, he would act as a confidant and counselor for those who wish to unburden their hearts. With his understanding of the elements and the laws of nature, he would devise new spells with the things he had at hand and would have been quite adept at improvising. My middle name. When the Druid card comes up in a spread, he has encouraged you to embrace your own magic and empower yourself with spellcraft. I get this card a lot. It's so funny, I do. I get this card a lot. And if you watch the channel, if you follow the playbook, you know that I don't do magic. I do rituals, but I don't do magic. I'm always told, like, you should be doing magic. And the reason, there are other videos that talk about my theories on magic, for me. There's nothing wrong with casting spells to get ahead or bring about a golden opportunity. You're not taking away anything from anyone else. I don't know if I agree with that. I'm going to digress here, but the reason I don't personally do magic is because I don't think we should bend the will of God. Whether you're Christian or not or whatever, like I believe in one entity. It's not male or female. We use the he pronoun, but I think it's all encompassing. And I believe that we are all part of God. Like we're all connected through light. All of us have light, and we're all one thing. So we all have God within us. And I feel like magic twists the plan of the universe, and maybe that's part of it. Maybe that's what's supposed to happen. I don't know. But I feel like I use the love spell as an example. Let's say I cast a love spell. Well, now that person loves me. But do they? Do they really love me? Or are they loving me because I've cast a spell? So I'm not comfortable with magic in that way. But maybe it's encouraging me to think about different forms of magic that don't twist outcomes for people, because I do a lot of herbal kinds of things. I don't know. All right, let's see. What is Gallowglass? I'd be interested in your comments too, because I know a lot of you do with magic, and I would welcome a fresh perspective. I'm a person that can listen to other things and say when I'm wrong and learn. So feel free. How can I never read? You wonder. Okay. 50 is the last card in the stack. Victory, fearless fortitude. The Gallowglass were the mercenary soldiers and seafarers of the Gadhill. Gadhill. Celtic words. I can never pronounce them. They traveled far and wide. Their swords are at the ready, and they were formidable opponents. Their Viking blood ensured that they took some pleasure in the fray, and they were fearless warriors. When the Gallowglass card shows up, it offers one simple message: victory. The battle you face might be bigger than you. The victory might be hard won. But rest assured that, like Gallowglass, the battle is in your blood, and this is one war you are sure to win, though the timing not be of your choosing. There is a pleasure to be found in victory. Conflict is an aspect of life. You might not relish it, but you do have what it takes to win both the battle and the war. Use the Gallowglass energies to stand up for yourself, defend your boundaries, and guard your territory. Whatever enemy you face, fight on, because ultimately you will be the victorious party, and your foe won't know what hit them. Victory is the only option. Enjoy it. I have no idea. And Gallowglass. Alright, now I write Gallowglass. Hand fasting. Commitment, fidelity. Hand fasting is a type of marriage ceremony where the hands of the bride and groom are bound together to signify they are one. I'm a minister. Became a minister so I could marry some hikers. Seriously, you go online and you fill out a form and you become a minister. No training required. And I'm very clear that I'm not a religious minister. I'm simply signing documents. I don't think the government should have a hand in who gets married. I feel like all these arguments that we have about who can marry who are ridiculous, because grown adults should be able to choose. The government doesn't need to know that. Anyway, I digress. I'm a libertarian, in case you can't tell. I don't like the government telling us what we can do and not do. Like, why do they have to have a record of who says they're married? Because of money, because of insurance. Anyway, I do Celtic hand fasting, so this is interesting that this card came out, and I'm actually getting ready to do a wedding, 2 weddings coming up, where both have requested hand fasting. Traditionally, the hands were cut and their blood mixed to symbolize the merging 2 clans. We do not do that. We do ribbons or ropes. A hand fasting would be part of a legal marriage ceremony, or it could take place in informal declaration of love. I've done both of those. And in the clan community, the hand fasting was the wedding. Like, there was no legal baloney. This is a lovely card suggesting that a marriage or long-term romantic commitment is on the horizon. Dave will be glad to know that. Expect bold romantic gestures and proposals. You've met Dave. That's not happening. If you are single, this card could indicate that a significant new love is on the way to you, so maybe this is resonating for somebody out there. In essence, if this card, love, marriage, and happy ever afters, it might always be the bed of roses, but it'll always be worth it. It is worth it. My husband and I are best friends, and we get along very well, and we are Team David and Julian, which is, those are the names of our sons. So I think that the message is that I'm going to pull the rune on is, in this new moon period, I need to work on more of my druid skills. I don't align with Obod. If you're a druid and you align with Obod, it's not that I have any judgment. I think the resources they have available to the community are fabulous. There are a few druids that I do follow, Dana O'Driscoll, Ellen Hotman, and I value their work. The modern druid movement reminds me of church. If I wanted to go to church, I would simply go to church. I don't like hierarchy. I don't like snootiness. I don't like what organized religion, whatever your religion is, paganism, witchcraft, Wicca, whatever it is. When it comes to group dynamics, it becomes about the group and not about the self. And so, I kind of feel that, like, I align very much with druid wisdom. I align with a lot of the principles that are set forth in the modern druid practice. And the thing is, druids and the Celts were everywhere. They were in Spain, in Galatia. They were in Austria. They were in Germany. Like, the Celts are not unique to Ireland and Scotland. They ended up there because of warring and Vikings and raids and stuff like that. They ended up there, but they were from all over. And so druids practiced differently in different areas, but the one thing they had in common is they never wrote anything down, because it was an oral tradition. Written word was considered sacred, so nothing was written down, so nothing survives till today. So whatever we do as druids today, it's stuff that we've made up over the past 400 years when the revival came through. So, and that's okay. That's absolutely okay. You can make up your religion every single day. That's fine. But call that what it is, and don't pretend that you have some sort of, corner market on the knowledge of what druidry is. It's a nature-based spirituality system. It is a pathway system where you honor your path and the paths of others who may or may not be druids. You bring no harm to others, and you do the things that resonate with you in connection to the natural world. I can buy into that. I'm not buying into the other baloney. So I think that in the new moon season, I should be focusing on learning more about what I believe about my druid practice. And I think I'm going to be victorious in what I come across. And I think there are other druids. I know there are other druids out here like me, people who identify with druidry and look at some of the organized stuff and are like, how is that different than the church? That's the same. And some of it's a little too foo-foo, like woo-woo. Like, some of it's a little bit too in this quest to be like the better druid, it comes across being insincere and just for show, which is what I think the church does. So I just got ringing in my ears. So I think, like I think I'm on a path to help other druids, and I've been working. Somebody who works for me is an artist, and I found something on Etsy that I so wanted, but it's a wheel of the year, and it's got all the information on it so that you can have it and then turn it. It's beautiful, beautiful. There's a bunch on Etsy. They're beautiful. I ordered one. It's being made in the Ukraine. I hope the people making it are safe. So I'm waiting for that. But the problem with those, when I see them, they're all for witchcraft. They use the witchcraft wording. And not that I have anything against the witchcraft wording, but it's not my tradition. And I'm used to it because if you follow a druid path, you kind of have to accept the witchcraft words for things because that's what's on everything. There isn't a wheel of the year that's for druids. So I said to her, she's amazing. She's an amazing artist and multimedia artist. So woodcraft, things like that. I'm like, can you make this and then change these words to this, to the albans? She's like, let me try. I said, I'm telling you, if you are able to do that, you need to put it up on, she had Etsy, but now she sells on the other one that doesn't screw them over like Etsy does. I said, you make it, I will promote the crap out of it because there's nothing like that out there for us. No, so I think this is just a reminder that in this new moon cycle, like I'm going to be the voice of independent druids, that don't align with like the stuff. And the hand fasting is, I do a lot of weddings. I do, and I'm all about light and love and bringing love into the world and sort of not the legal political crap that surrounds marriage. I'm so not interested in politics, and I'm so not interested in the legal stuff that surrounds marriage. I don't think it's a legal thing. I think it's a heart thing, right? And just, promoting love and the commitments people make in their own hearts. Like, those commitments are more important than the legal ones. Anyway, let's see what the rune says. Where are my runes, I say? Oh, there. So, we're going to have Spirit sum up the new moon energy with one rune. Tell us how I should focus this message. Getting all my other rocks out. Alright, Spirit, so in this new moon, what should be the focus using these cards as informational assets? It came up between my fingers. Huh. We have Anzus. So I'm going to go think about that, and I'll be right back. So Anzus is all about communication. My phone is ridiculous, and it makes all these noises. Stop. Yes, I know the car insurance people leave me a message every single day. The warranty people. Like, I don't have a brand new car. But sometimes I think when a phone call comes right at a certain point, like that Spirit saying, like, pay attention. And Anzus is all about communication and talking. And again, I feel like I've been called to this. Hester's card talked about this. That she pulled for me the message I had last night, the messages I got through last night. There aren't a lot of voices for people who are Christian and also believe in the other world stuff. When you look at Christianity and the things that we do in the churches and the different denominations, so much of it is pagan based. So much of it is based on ancient practices of all kinds of different people. And there really are very few people who are willing to go to, I don't want to say die on the sword, but that's the sense that I get. Like, to say, like, being Christian hasn't ever been the problem, right? Believing in Jesus Christ as a Savior isn't a problem. It's how the church has exacted that message out to the people, through, the Spanish Inquisition, through witch trials and witch hunts, You know, it isn't the Christianity itself that's the problem. It's how people have acted in the name of Christianity. And so, you know, in our world, we need more examples of people who are Christian, who don't buy into any of that nonsense, who recognize and appreciate and accept the traditions that Christianity adopted to get their message across. And to bring more light and love in the world and to be victorious, I kind of just have to know my stuff. And I need to continue learning and practicing and not getting caught up into the politics of it, right? Like not getting caught up into that, because I get so irritated with like any organized religion, and I get really irritated with Obad because of how snooty they are and how much they charge people to learn their stuff. I've been a professor a long time, and I've always put my stuff out for free on the internet so that third world countries could use the material to teach because they didn't have access to textbooks. And, you know, like, I don't know, like when you charge people for knowledge, you make it marginalizes people, right? It is a classist thing to do. Information should be free. When you're charging $250, a working poor person or somebody who is poor cannot afford that. So therefore they can't have the knowledge. And therefore you're continuing to be a part of the problem. You're continuing to force them in poverty. Knowledge gets people out of poverty. Knowledge gets people to raise up. So knowledge should never have a price tag on it. Now I understand that you pay your teachers and you want to be compensated for your time. I get all that. But there are other ways to do that. Charging people for knowledge, I just think is wrong. And sorry, Obad. I mean, I think you have a lot of great free information out there, and I appreciate those resources. I share those resources with a lot of people. I'm so thankful for them. But to be a real druid, you have to take their course. Horseshit. I don't believe you. Because who are you? Like, to tell me that you are the authority on it. You're not. I'm not. So, anyway, I think I really do know. I'm going to go journal now and really think about how I can be more mindful in my practice. Tomorrow night, I'm doing my very first, no, it's not, I think it's my second. I think I've done it once before, but it's, I wasn't part of the Soul Sister Collective. So I'm doing a live rune reading at 8 o'clock Eastern time here on YouTube. You can either comment on this video that you'd like a live rune reading, or you can comment on the notification posting that's up on the channel for a reading. If you can't make it, I'll read for you at the end when I'm done with the folks who are there with me live. And then I will be reading from the Elder Futhark, one pulls, and as I always say, runes do not predict the future. They only give us intentions for our meditation and prayer. So, I am wishing you all the best in light and love. Have an amazing Saturday. And if you are planning to, or if you're not, Sassy is going to be running Sassy and Disco are going to be doing crafting and spell night tonight. So catch them. I will link them below. Be well. Take care. Bye-bye.